Awesome. Well, welcome. Episode 1 of Family Business. We are so excited to share our family, our journey, 4 generations of real estate business. And we're moving into 2025. It's here. So I think we kind of want to talk about and provide value to everybody out there on what we're going to be looking into doing and improving on, but also, continuing the good stuff that we've succeeded in the past. So one thing that you guys are excited for in 2025, what is that specifically?
Well, this is going to air in 2025. And so I'm going to have to say what I'm excited for in 2025 is the fact that 2024 is over and we're one day closer to spring, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I think we have snow falling down right now, and I think everyone in our area.
Is that snow or is that ice or is it in between? I mean,
We get all 3 versions, that's for sure, throughout the day.
No, okay. So to be honest, what I'm looking for in 2025 is just we are really refining our processes and simplifying things and streamlining things. And I just think we're going to set the world on fire. Not that we haven't already set the world on fire, but there's just a lot of things that as technology continues to improve, I think we've done a really good job this year of embracing the new things that are coming out.
Sure.
And bringing them on board. So I'm excited to launch those and really be utilizing them and have a full year with those things in place and see what that does for us.
Yeah, and I think that, as each year goes on, you definitely see new systems, new ways of doing things, and there's always a need for evolution. And I think that Andrea specifically has done a phenomenal job of making sure that we're always at the forefront of that.
Oh, look at you giving me
For sure. Yeah.
So nice.
Pandering just a little bit.
He's for a raise, but I don't pay him. He pays himself. So.
Exactly.
Now, I'm on the same page with you guys that there's been a lot of changes. Like when I look back at the last 24 years, almost 25.
Isn't that crazy? You've been in business for 24 years and it's 2024 and now it's going to be 2025?
Yeah. So that's always going to line up.
Can't forget about
As long as I'm working, unless I make it to 2099, but I'm probably not going to be in the business in 2099.
What would you be in 2099?
Well, 120.
You're not going to be alive. Okay, go on. What's your story?
modern medicine. You never know.
No, but
You drink a lot of red wine. I hear that prolongs your life.
that's very true. Very, very true. A glass a day keeps the doctor away, right?
What about a bottle?
Like
I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So 2025. I can't believe we're already in 2025. I mean, it's crazy how quickly it has come up on us. But I would agree with PT that you have definitely set us up with the
Why are you guys
systems.
giving me all these accolades on here?
Well, I mean,
I don't know what
that's
to do with
true.
this.
I've always been one. I'm not much of a system guy, to be quite frank.
No, really?
And that's probably the reason why when you joined me that our real estate business really took off was you started to implement those systems. Like I remember back in the day when you said that we have to get on Facebook, and that was in 2007. And I was like,
You said, no, actually, we were on Facebook. I wanted a Facebook business profile. And you're
right.
like, why do we need that?
Yeah.
And also, well, we'll get into some of the other things in another episode but anyway, go ahead.
So 2025, I really want to get back to concentrating on the basics. And I think 2024, we started to do that again, doing open houses, doing more involvement in the community, just those kinds of things that I really think really help grow the business. And we love to give back too. And that's what I'm really going to concentrate on here in 2025. Is not only growing the business but giving back more.
Well, at the end of the day, all the things everybody always talks about is like it's not a transactional business, it's a relationship business. So all the things that you just said, and I think that like mentioning, getting back to the basics, right? I mean, the more conversations you have with people, the more people are on, and not necessarily are they going to be a buyer or a seller, but just being able to help them with whatever process they're in their life in regards to real estate.
100%. And that's one of those that I just really think a lot of newer agents, it's very transactional. And if you can remember that we're here to help people, we're not here to sell people. So it's very important that we don't make it transactional, that we're more so there. And I'm trying to think of the word that I like to use, not counselor, because that would be like if you're in trouble, right?
Sure.
You can be their counselor.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes, yeah.
and
sometimes,
attorney.
but more so they're consultant. That's the word that I'm really.
One thing you're
looking
not
for.
going to be
Like,
is
you
their
really
chef
can't
though, or their carpenter. Those are not things that those are not for.
Well, carpenter, minor carpentry repair.
Do you know what carpentry is?
That
Brad?
requires a screwdriver and a hammer.
Yeah, if there's a hole already made, then
But
we're
if we're starting to get into the power tools, then I'm probably going to give Kevin Nielsen a call. So,
But I want to bring it back to something that's important to.
we got way off track.
No, I think it's great, but I think a lot of people struggle with is that, it's such a complex business, and I think that you guys complement yourself very well. Regarding Brad, you're truthful with yourself. You're just not really a systems person, but Andrea is really good with making sure that those are set up for yourself. So what would your advice be to someone, that might be feeling overwhelmed or feeling that they are just not maybe producing in an aspect of the business and maybe finding help for that?
Yeah,
I'm only into being married to one person.
right.
So
I was just
you're
going
planning
to
to
say
offer
hire
me
Andrea,
that's
but no. But I was Jerry Rossi very early on in my real estate career. I remember there was a class that I took with him. Gosh, I was probably 25, 26 years old at the time. Actually, just about your age, PT.
Sure.
And he said, you got to do what you're good at, and then you either have to hire somebody else that is good at what you're not good at, or in my case, you marry somebody else that is good at what you're not good
Is
at.
that why we got married?
No, it was totally...
Wait. When we met, if I remember correctly, I actually was introduced to you by someone who was a realtor in your office. Did you guys have a plan the whole time? Was that the secret plan?
No, it was one of those where I think she was probably like, yeah, he's all over the place. And she was probably just hopeful that this would work out. And here we are, how many years later?
Yeah.
How long have we been married?
Oh,
I know I'm going to be 50 next year. That's about
2007. So let's do the math. 17 years.
Oh,
There we
so
go.
we met. No. Oh, yeah. We met when I was 30. So we've been
Married.
known each other for 20 years. Yeah. Okay.
So that would be my answer is that you're not going to be good at everything. Sure. You're just not.
You shouldn't try to be either. That's just there's not. I mean, let's use Michael Jordan, right, as an example, right? He was a really good basketball player, so then he thought he could be a really good golfer, right? Just because he was athletic, he was a decent golfer. But I mean, that's just the fact of the matter is, and people try. That's probably why a lot of agents. I don't mean that in a bad way for all you agents that are listening. I don't. I think that's like why a lot of agents are held back from success. Let's say it that way.
Sure.
Because I think that they try too hard to be everything to everyone instead of understanding what their niche is and what they should do. Like we'll use, investment properties as an example, right? It's just not something that's ever, I mean, sure, we can do it. And it's not that we can't advise someone on it, but that's not our specialty. Same with commercial. I mean, how many times have you had someone ask you about doing a commercial deal? There are plenty of agents who excel in the commercial field that are much better suited to help someone in that. And it would take you 10 times as long to get to the same result as somebody who does it every day.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing is that just figure out, what kind of buyers and sellers you like to work with. And I don't mean that. I just, what are the specific property types? Do you like country properties? Do you like first-time home buyers? Do you like, there's an agent in our office right now that really loves working with military buyers and sellers because he has a military background. I mean, find your niche and go all in on that.
100%. Yep.
And I think it's so important too with the direction of where our industry is going to right now. It's important more than ever to either if you're not exactly where you are or want to be, is to find someone that can help you to get to that place. It needs to become an industry where we're helping each other and we're being collaborative, because our main goal at the end of the day, like you said, Brad, is to serve our clients and the community. So, if you feel that there's one place that you're just don't have that much experience in, then go find someone that does, because someone is out there willing to help, because at the end of the day, it's about helping our clients achieve their dreams and goals.
I would agree. Yes.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about that, especially right now. Going into 2025 will be our first full year with the whole new law changes and EBAs. And it's one of the things that I think people forget about is at the end of the day, our job as realtors is to educate the public. And if you can't educate someone on a topic that they are interested in, then you should definitely either go to someone so you can get some of those or some of that knowledge and resources so that you're become better, more knowledgeable. There we go. in that era.
Sure.
Or refer them to somebody that's better at it.
And I think that's something too that I have recognized specifically with, our special story and our special situation is that something that's been passed down through 4 generations is the importance of customer service and how we treat everyone else. I know I'm kind of, beating a dead horse at this point, but it's so important. And I know it's been drilled in my head because it's relationships, right? It's what Brad said earlier. It's about, it's not transactional. It's about finding ways to create relationships with people and serving them. So, I think it's pretty cool to kind of see how not only has time changed throughout those 4 generations, but that one core piece has stayed the same, being customer service.
Absolutely.
Well, there's no way that you're, not to cut you off, Brad, but there's just no way that your family, the Boeye name would still exist and still be regarded the way it is in our marketplace, and actually really beyond that, not just in real estate, but just in business in general, if it wasn't for taking care of people and forming those relationships. You just can't, there's no other way to, keep it going for that long without that.
No, I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, I've always really thought you either have one of 2 options. You can either be a full service brokerage, and which requires you to offer excellent customer service, or you can be a discount brokerage, and there's just not a lot of service. And we've always chosen to
you mean you're not supposed to take pictures with your iPhone?
No.
Cardboard signs, are those okay?
No, and there's a
Do I have to answer my phone on weekends?
Right.
9 to 5.
There's a
9 to 5. Wait, no,
certain
9
level
to 5,
that you
10 to
expect.
4.
Yeah, there's a certain level that you expect when
We got business, Brad, right now. I'm sorry, Brad.
Yeah, when you expect what you expect. I'm lost now.
But this is important though. It's what it's grown, and it's so important, especially in our area specifically. We're very locally based. We like to support local businesses and just kind of thrive together. And so any way that we can help the community, I think is a huge part. And so if you're not involved in the community, or, you're looking for maybe to improve your database, grow your database, your community, that's one great way to do it, is just go out and get involved and help people.
Well, if you remember, and I don't know if you remember this conversation.
Oh, I do.
BT. When I sat you down and I said, I mean, I don't know. What are you passionate about?
Right.
Like, what do you like to do? Like, volunteer on this and that, whatever it is. I mean, don't just pick. I am a firm believer that you don't just pick something to pick something. And I think I said that. You should do something and volunteer and give your time to something you're passionate about. And that is something too. And Brad knows this. And anybody that's like Nikki, who's on our team now, who worked for me years ago in my previous life before real estate. I mean, we would go to, whether it's a chamber event or whatever. And we had this rule, because there was I think 6 or 7 of us in my sales office. And the rule was none of us could sit at the same table together.
Sure.
And I remember one of the first times I told it, one of the new salespeople, and they were like, what? I have to sit at a table with people I don't know. Yeah, that's the whole point. Right. We're here to network and meet, not for a free lunch and, whatever, to show off your new shoes that you got today. You're here to network and to get to know people. And at the end of the day, like you just said, PT, I mean, this is where we all live. I mean, we all chose, all of us on some level moved away from this area. We all moved back because we love it here. Yep. I mean, sure, our family's here, but at the end of the day, the Quad Cities, I know, people sometimes little Iowa, Illinois in the middle of nowhere, but it's a great place to live. It's a great place. I mean, there's lots of opportunities aside from the fact that it's snowing outside right now. Why would you not want to pour into that to make it better for generations to come?
Well, that's the whole goal too. I mean, we like I said, I know that a lot of people can relate to this aspect because there have been businesses passed through generations, and I think from just my view and standpoint is the importance thing is to see what they've done and figure out a way to continue that on by adapting with how the world's changing. And once you do that and continue the practice and your standards and your beliefs, I think that's the most important thing.
I 100% agree. And I really think that when you look over time at any business, what we go back to is caring about your clients. That's always been the consistent throughout. When I got into the business, we were using MLS books.
Sure.
Now we're using apps that the clients have full access to everything, right? They just log right on there. But the thing that hasn't changed is the agents that are the most successful in the companies that are the ones that their clients know that you have their best interests at heart.
Well, and I think that's something that a lot of people are struggling with too right now. It's more than ever more of a easier thing to get away from that customer service side of things, because when you look at all you got to do is just send a text now with a link, and that's I think why we're kind of struggling in our industry with kind of getting these outside views of what we do and what we're worth. But the issue is that you have to show more than just sending a text or a link. You have to still be that personable human aspect of it, and that kind of goes back to the evolution part. I mean, you learn in the past of what worked, and then you kind of have to re-evolve that as we move in time with more technology, AI. I mean, that's going to be a huge topic here in the next 2025. Chat GPT.
Do you even have Chat GPT on your phone?
Actually, it's really funny that you asked that question, because today I was looking for another way to say something, and I would try to log on to the Chat GPT.
It's a mouthful.
And evidently you have to register. So I have not registered yet. So wait till I am on Chat GPT.
Well, do you know what I discovered today? We could actually get a team Chat GPT, but I'm a little concerned at what questions you might ask it, and then you're going to mess up what, because it saves its memory. It keeps.
Yeah, it learns by what you ask.
Correct.
Just like you learn, like what I love to eat, right? You know my favorite flower, right?
That's right.
It's because you remember. He doesn't.
Violets.
Ding, ding, ding.
Tulips. You like tulips. That's one of your
That's not my favorite. What is my favorite?
Roses.
Wrong. Come on. It was your mom's favorite too.
Not carnations. I can picture them. Big.
Visual. We're visual people here. That's the other thing too.
Every year if you plant them.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Pella. Iowa.
Credentias.
This is outrageous that
Pella, Iowa.
You don't
Petunias.
You're getting closer, but no. I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It was the Dahlstrom's dog's name. Remember Karen and Neil's?
Daisies?
Yeah.
Daisies. Oh, there we go. See,
Right.
we weren't close. She was just trying to make it feel better.
Thank goodness that Neil and Karen Dahlstrom had a dog by the name of Daisy right now.
We'd still be talking about what my favorite flower is. Anyway, but ChatGPT has an actually team option, which kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I don't think you need a team option. I mean,
no, you're right. You can get your own ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But the interesting is just how not only is it just being able to be a search engine for people. I mean, it's in cars, it's in phones. Now, I mean, iPhone's coming out and it's going to be their AI, Apple Intelligence powered phones. Yeah, and so it's like it's crazy that it's our world now. So we just have to learn to adapt and figure out the best ways to not only incorporate in our business to help be successful, but also to make sure that we're not being controlled by robots.
Exactly.
Well, and I think that's been going on for a long time, where people think, I can remember, like you said, and people back in the day, oh, I don't need a computer, I have MLS books. Well, that changes. Then it's like when, the Zillows and the Realtor.com and all these websites came out, then it's like, oh, well, no one's going to need a realtor anymore because they're going to search it. And it's just crazy because all those things have happened during the course of, I joined you in the business in the year we got married, 2007. And yet all those things happened, yet our business continued to increase, even though we had those. And that is probably a testament to how we run our business, right? It is more relationship based. And at the end of the day, it's no different than me. Like, I can ask ChatGPT.
See, she can't even say it either.
A question.
GPT.
Well, you should know it because two of the words are in there. So you got
PT.
I can ask it a question or I can get an opinion or something, but I'm still going to go to a person after that. It's whatever it is that thing is that I'm doing with ChatGPT. It is either then being followed up with a conversation with a person, or it's being utilized in a social media or something post that's going to a person. So it doesn't.
At some point, you're going to have to talk to the person, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing too is I think it's a great tool, right?
For sure.
in general,
speeds things up.
Exactly. If you're looking for more of, you know, an answer or ideas, I think that's a great thing. But if you're looking for, you know, maybe something to kind of help you solve an issue,
like how do I treat people, it's probably not going to tell you that.
Yeah, or
I have a sore throat, ChatGPT. What medicine should I take?
See, now that it might tell you.
Yeah, exactly. It might help you on that just a little
What
bit.
I'm allergic to. See,
True.
That's why you need a person.
Or a doctor. Maybe just go straight to the doctor.
Maybe the doctor is better than ChatGPT.
Well, you were going to say something earlier about relationships and whatever, and I don't remember what it was, but I just want to again, like going back to like, you know, we're 2024 going into 2025. The thing that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit is you were talking about the full service brokerage and the discount brokerage and et cetera, is how there's people would think again, those when like we had what was it, the iBuyers and the, you know, all that stuff,
Yep,
right?
sure.
Okay, the Redfins, that was just going to take over the world as well. But again, you're seeing the people going back to, again, agents that they want the service aspect of it, right? And I think you're going to see even more of that in 2025. And that's one of the things I love about the law change in PT. You were saying, you know, agents and how they do things or whatever and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think part of, and this is going to be an unfavorable opinion, I'm just going to say it, part of the reason why we are where we are with what some people think realtors do in their jobs and their opinions and stuff is because of years where, you know, the market was crazy. Sure. And you didn't have to know what you were doing. No. All you had to do was open a door.
You had to be a ChatGPT. That's all you had to be.
Well, you had to write 20 offers before one would get accepted. But I mean, at the end of the day,
right,
that's all you had to do. You didn't have, there was no, most people weren't doing inspections. It was just how fast, I mean, you have to have a car that didn't run out of electricity. So I don't know if your Tesla would have worked in those years, but.
And how's that car working here with the cooler weather, by the way?
It's interesting. I actually did some research in that, not to get too far off track here, but you're actually, like with an iPhone, you're not supposed to charge it. Like you're supposed to let it fully charge.
Correct.
And get it all the way down. But with Tesla, they actually recommend plugging it in every night.
Oh.
Now, obviously, you have to take into consideration electricity costs, and you know, with all that draining, but there's different ways to get around it. But yeah, just have to plan a little bit more.
Yeah.
So getting really kind of back to, you're right. I mean, we went through an era there for a little while where it was just crazy. And when I look back at things, I don't think many people in the business today can say that they have been through a lot of the things that I have. The last 25 years
Marrying
have been,
me?
Well, you know, that's very true. But a lot of the things in the real estate industry in the past 25 years have been major things. You know, starting with when I got into the business, the World Wide Web, right? I mean, when I was in college,
It's so funny to hear you say World Wide Web.
You have
the World Wide Web.
You have to tell
what it
that
was.
story about the lady that came up to you and asked what you were doing.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So when I very first moved back to the Quad Cities, I worked in Champaign, Illinois for a year or so, just a little bit less. When I came back, I was getting everything set up on my laptop, and this agent came over and said, "What are you doing on your laptop?" And then I said, "Oh, I'm looking up homes on the MLS." And she said to me, "Well, let me tell you something. They're not on there. They're in the conference room in the MLS books." And I said, "No, actually, they're online now." At the time, it was a test. It was just a beta was all they were doing at the time, but I knew how to get on there. And she was kind of disgusted and was like, "You know, you can use that thing, but this is a people business.
Right.
Like, you need to know how to talk to people." And she was right about one thing is, like we've already talked about, is you have to know how to talk to people, how to treat people. But the technology piece is very important. If you don't have the technology piece with the how to treat people, then you're kind of lost.
Yeah, and I think we should probably go back to that, you know, concept too of and it's very common right now, right, with this lawsuit stuff and everything that happened back in August is everyone's freaking out and just with this new change potentially.
Not really.
I'm not freaking out.
Well, yeah, correct. Some people, right? Some. There is this, once something new comes to the thing, people are afraid of change. And it goes back to our conversation about, when to ask for help and the change of technology is there's always something going to happen. There's always going to be something evolving and improving. We just have to learn to adapt and roll with the punches. And it's something that is just, people just don't understand though.
I have this visual right now. Okay. When you said that, I'm like, okay, this is what just went through my brain. This is how my brain works, by the way, is I thought to myself, well, if you don't change, you don't grow. And then I thought to myself, it'd be like when you're growing, if you never changed your clothes, right? You'd be like that He-Man guy, right? And you would just keep getting bigger, bigger, and bigger, and your clothes would just break, open.
And then,
That's very true. I mean,
and then you're left exposed, and you're out of the business. Like it's just like that.
We're 2025. We're gonna have that somewhere in our marketing.
we should. But going back again, though, like we said,
Person, did you hear?
Yeah.
going back again. So there was the World Wide Web, which my wife is looking over here at me like
worldwide marriage encounter or
like
something. I don't know.
I'm
Worldwide
really
Web.
dated.
Who says World Wide Web?
Sorry, the internet.
Have you ever heard the term World Wide Web?
I like it though because
that's what-
where the setting takes place.
If you didn't know this, WWW, that stands for World Wide Web.
You know what? I honest to God did not know that, Brad. I just learned something today. Wow, I'm gonna grow.
Take that down, write in your notes. If you didn't get anything from this episode, it's that the www.
World Wide Web.
There we go.
So then when Andrea joined me, she joined at the exact perfect time, right at the financial meltdown. She joined me in 2007. I believe that was 2008 when that happened.
We'll get into that year in another episode because boy, that was a doozy.
That was a time, but
Lessons learned.
that was another era where home prices dropped significantly in most areas of the country. We were pretty lucky here that they didn't drop as much here. But a lot of people were like, the real estate market's never going to be the same again. And of course, it rebounded. And then we had COVID, right? And you were around. You were in college, but you were here during the
He was actually locked in his dorm room. He didn't get to go anywhere
of
during
2020.
his first couple years of college, right?
Well, and that's what I was going to bring up too. I always tell this story when people question how long I've been in the business or what it's been through, because there's always this common assumption when if you've been in the business for less than 5 years, then all you know is the COVID market. Well, when I did my first couple of years of interning, I remember the specific
best
thing.
Bosses ever.
Oh, it was fantastic. But the one thing I remember specifically is that you guys capped how many listings you kept in your inventory active, and to think that we went from you capping it at 25 to 30, and then not being able to hold. Have an inventory of active listing for a couple of years, and then now we're slowly creeping back to that. But that's just like you see each side of it. And
can you even imagine now if you had 20 to 25 listings, that means you're the worst real estate agent in the country. If you have 20 to 25
as an
active
individual
listings,
agent, let's just
as an individual agent that are current, that all have been on the market for more than 20 days. I mean, it used to be that if you could sell a house in a month, that was a pretty quick sale.
Yeah.
And now it's just we're shifting back into that. But to your point, you've been through that market too, where you understand that everything's not going to sell right away.
Well, and we're getting back into that too, because it's a very now common conception when a buyer sees that a home's been sitting on the market for 20 days, and they're like,
"Wow, what's wrong with this?"
So let's do some math here. If we see 20 days, we're gonna times that by 100, so we can offer under 20 grand, right? That's how it works. But
let's ask ChatGPT.
But it's an important. You'd probably get that same answer, but because it's probably been thrown on Reddit or whatever. But it's important to understand that have those conversations with your buyers. I mean, that's still under average market days on market now for our area. Mm-hmm. So you never know. It might have just been a bad timing it was put on. We're entering, right now as we're talking into the holiday season, but. Just having those conversations are extremely important too.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see how 2025, I mean, there's all these, speculations and, I mean, I know we're on par right now to have the best January, February, March we've ever had in our real estate career, which sounds crazy when I start thinking about it. But it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out, right? And what the average days on markets are for 2025, and it's going to be like the first, I mean, okay, it's not, it's really, if you think about it, since COVID, 2025 is like going to be the first, dare I say this out loud, normal year, right? It's not COVID.
Normal-ish.
It's not, there's no COVID, it's not COVID. It's not the year after COVID. Those were, and then it was an election year last year,
Yep.
which is always
Which is
a little
a huge thing
weird.
too. Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's the first, I mean, there's nothing, right?
Yeah, there's
Am I
no
missing
major
something?
event. Now let's knock on wood here. I'm not supposed to hit my hands here, but let's knock on wood.
Yeah.
That there won't be any major events. But you're right. I mean, we've had.
Who told you can't hit your hands?
You said to keep your hands still so you don't hear all the background noise, which I think I've been doing a pretty good job thus far.
I think I've been the worst, and I was the one that set the rules. So, but it's okay. But no, yeah, it's weird to kind of foreshadow and look into it. And it goes back to that conversation too, talking about the election, because that was a huge thing that kind of hindered us for the last couple months. And someone told me, he's like, I think the reason why we just had a strong August in October was because everyone was just happy it was over, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who won. Just at the end of the day, that they don't have
August
to worry
and
about it.
October? When is the
I know
election
what he
held in
meant.
your world?
He meant the largest November.
November.
Thank you. Wait, did the election day change?
Yeah.
It did in my brain.
You were
It was.
That's August 25th. I mean, that is a big deal. I get it.
There's been a lot of numbers and dates thrown around, and at this point in my life, I'm just like, is it Tuesday? Is it Saturday? Is it Christmas?
Is it a day? Yes.
Yeah, did the sun come up?
Right.
Yes.
But you're totally right. I mean, we've had these events over and over the last 3 to 4 years. Well, actually, we're almost in 2025, so almost 5 years in a row of just random events. And then
Well, I am turning 50 in 2025, so that is a big
that's a
event.
big event.
And I'm turning 26, and I'm getting off insurance, and
Oh,
yeah, so
No, but
this is a
that
big
would be
year
a
for
good
us. No, it's a big
So-
year for us.
going
The
back.
good
though,
thing that you're killing it, PT. You can afford your own insurance,
That's right.
especially with that electric vehicle and all gas. you're saving.
I'm really going to get us back on track now.
Let's do it.
Right. So, going back, so then we had the World Wide Web, the internet. Then we had the financial meltdown, COVID, and now the EBA buyer's agency
And service fee and broker.
and all the rest of that. So
Get clear cooperation too.
there
Remember
were
that whole
agents,
drama?
yes, and the clear cooperation thing too. So every one of those major events, agents around the country were all saying this might be the end of realtors. No, it's not going to be. And I'll guarantee you, the previous 20 years, 25 years, there were events that happened back then that they would have said, which we'll have my dad on here sometime too to explain the challenges of the 80s. I'll guarantee you there were
He's
a lot
in
of
his
times-
80s.
Yeah, in his 80s.
It is.
There were a lot of times in the 80s where I'm sure a lot of realtors said, are we going to make it through here or not?
Oh,
And
we'll have to have him tell that story, but that's for
the
another
one
day. All
about
these
everybody's
things.
paid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's paid except for him.
Right. No.
Well,
So
anyway.
there's always challenges. I mean, there's always challenges. We don't know what they will be coming up, but what's great is that we're at Real Broker, and they're excellent at keeping us up with all the changes and all the challenges and how to navigate those challenges too.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great 2025. I guess by the time we hear this, it'll be 2025, and we'll kind of know what's going on.
Well,
a little bit.
no matter what, it's here, if you like it or not. And the challenges on yourself, like we kind of talked about through this entire episode, is, there is opportunity to grow, succeed, and there's different ways to approach that. It's just on you to actually do it. And shout out to Dusty Oglesby. He always tells me this: run the plays, and run the plays not even when people are watching, because as long as you're continuing to do the things the correct way, make your phone calls, do the social media posts, your 2025 will be a great year for you.
Amen.